So Elvis used to come up here and overlook, not much because it's not a huge hill to overlook, but it's someplace, I guess, in regards to his home that he was born in, which he was born on down below in the house that they still have available to look at. So how does that look? Yep. All right, little Elvis, what do you think about criminal law? What do you know about it? Or should I talk to Big Elvis? Who knows more about criminal law and how people are treated by the people who practice this law, the officers who are given authority to rule over our lives? What do you think of that? Is that something that inspired your music in any way? Did these government officials have any influence on the way that your music was made? It's something to think about. In my case, the government officials, cops, prosecutors, judges, they have influenced the way I travel. They influence a lot of parts. I spent months and months just waiting on court trials. I spent months sitting in jail, hours researching all of this, learning one state after another, and then forgetting about it. Still, I mean, I keep some memory of particular states, the laws from Idaho to North Dakota to Colorado to Louisiana to Missouri, now to Kentucky. I learn about the laws and what state are we in? We're in Mississippi. Apparently, Elvis, if you're caught just sitting in your parked car, that's considered operating it. Can you believe that? Little Elvis, Big Elvis, can you believe that? And they're practicing that pretty much in Kentucky too. Kentucky bleeds into, or Mississippi bleeds into Kentucky with this. If you're sitting in your car, you're operating it. If you have a vehicle, then you're the owner, and so you got to prove your ownership. You have to show all your papers, just on a cop's whim, on a cop's curiosity. The cop is curious about what you got and asks for it, and then if you don't give it to him, arrests you. They're not serving the public's best interest in asking each individual just out of the blue for their papers. And this is arguments that have been made in Idaho, where there's a contrast between serving the public's best interest and then just serving your own curiosity. And that's what those cops in Kentucky did. They're just only serving their own curiosity, demanding my insurance and driver's license so I can leave the grace of their presence. Grace. Isn't there an Elvis song with something about grace, Amazing Grace or something? I'm not a close Elvis fan myself, but I know my mom was, so if she's watching this, I'm in Elvis's birthplace, and it's unique. It's a little different from where she grew up, and she took in Elvis from the media pretty much, and the type of media from the 1960s, 1950s, what they provided. But the law is really harsh on people in regards to curiosity versus the public interest, and they're perverting it in Kentucky really badly. They're saying that the cops' curiosity, their individual curiosity about me, is a law. They they get curious about my identity and my background, and they can arrest me over their curiosities. But I become curious about them, and I'm told their names are not a public record. I'm told it's just a search for, an asking for information. That's pretty much making that divide, curiosity versus public interest, on the cops level, on my level, and it's twisted. It's somehow between the cops level and my citizens level. It becomes like it turns into something completely different, and it's not in line in Kentucky, and they're enforcing this all the way up to the higher levels. The Attorney General, the sheriff he quoted, but the courts have overruled the sheriff, but he's still enforcing old ways, their old ways, up until the point where they got successfully challenged in court by a newspaper company. But still, they continue with their old ways because they're playing us as stupid, even though that they can't make the arguments legally in a logical, reasonable way. The courts are finding that the cops cannot make a logical, reasonable argument about protecting names, body cameras, anything at their whim they think could be harmful to the cop. The logic falls flat on its face because they're publishing our records individually, and they're putting us at risk by publishing us, by searching us, announcing information about us. And it's not working both ways equally in Kentucky. And why are the locals allowing this to happen? I'm sitting here fighting against insurmountable odds with my case of this trespassing at the church, and people who live there should have been already pushing back against this, but it seems like they've become complacent. Elvis, the people in Kentucky are complacent with getting pushed around. Would you have allowed that in your life? Would you have become a superstar like you are by being complacent? I hope not. Who becomes a star, rising to the top, getting adoring fans from all over by being a complacent person? Is it just something to be comfortable in? Complacency is comfort. It's too bad that there aren't people out there who will stand up for themselves and push back, even just a little bit. Just because somebody asks you to pay them $25, give me some lunch money, all right? I'm offended by what you did. Give me some lunch money, all right? You run away. You can run away, push back a little bit, run away. You don't have to sit there and have a full fight. And let people know about that bully. You maybe let him win once, but at least get out there and let them know about him. Make them a star. Make the bullies a bit of a star. They're looking for that. People say just ignore the problem. I say make people aware of this problem. Look at over here. There's a star. What am I going to just walk past and just ignore it? You can't. They'll just push harder and harder. You gotta put them in their place. And you don't have to do it directly. There's other ways. There's more than one way to win a controversy. So I'm just complaining. I'm gonna stop.